Can the salt with this skill just stop? Hey guys, Sonic Smash Bro here, and, well, new ban list dropped a little while ago. And it is single-handedly the best ban list we've had all year. Seriously, this is so good. Floodgates are banned, Nightingale is hit, Predaplants are hit, Lyrilisk in general has been slaughtered, but they'll still at least be functional. Ghost Tricks are getting all their Limit 3 stall out of here. And a bunch of cards are coming off that, for the most part, I'm fine with. The exceptions being freaking Dogmatic Punishment and Chaos Form. BLS about to be toxic again. Anyway, the real strength of this, and the real discussion of this video, is the skill rebalance. Because this, whatever, Red Eye's reverse rework, cool. Revolution Des Fleurs getting nerfed is the main discussion of this video. Because finally, it is getting nerfed. It is needed to get nerfed for so long. But here's all they did. Now forcing you to play Necro Fleur and Sorcier de Fleur from the skill effects face down. Meaning you no longer have the unrespondable Trishula Zero. Although Trishula Zero is still going to be really good. That is the only hit that Fleur has gotten. And it is a good hit, don't get me wrong. Having the unrespondable Trishula Zero taken away is really good. It was much needed. But I am going to stress this now. To many, that is not enough. Some believe locking it to Synchros. Some lock it to Synchro Infusion. Some require 7 or more spellcasters with 2900 attack, so you're forced to play the freaking normal monster. I don't agree with any of those. Sure, Fleur is by nature a Synchro Infusion deck with Centaur Mina. If you lock it just to Synchros, you take out one of the core cards of the Floral Knights cards, which Sherry actually uses. You take out Centaur Mina, which can come in clutch. It is actually a really good thing for them. Locking it to Synchros Infusions, sure, realistically that would be okay. But in the case of Fleur specifically, the reason why they have Xyz Place in the first place is because, well, put quite simply, they have the monsters they need to do that with. Saj and Sorcier are both level 8s. Making it 7 or more spellcasters with 2900 attack, I don't agree with that either. Because that requires you to play the normal monster, that means you're basically playing what would normally be a dead card otherwise, that could have been Sorcier or Saj in particular. Now, I understand locking it to Synchro Infusion, but I don't think that's the bigger offense here. If you want what I think is the bigger issue, you have to look at the main deck. Note that aside from the 6 or more spellcasters with 2900 attack exactly, there is no restrictions. So, to prove what I'm talking about, let's take this to the submitted deck lists in the PvP arena. So, we'll filter this with... Where is Sherry? And the skill will be Revolution Des Fleurs. So, what do we have here? Necroz, Dogmatica, 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 Dogmatica. And there's that normal monster I was talking about. Dogmatica, Nibiru. More Necroz. Zombie World with Orcust in there, apparently. This looks like it's Machina, if I remember this correctly. Deskbots. Invoked, and some play Bishbalkin. Which Bishbalkin's getting banned, so we're not going to talk about that too much. Chaos Engine. Invoked, there's Plasma, so that's probably Bishbalkin. More Dogmatica, more Necroz. You get the basic idea. There's Orcust more, there's more Zombie World. There's the random hat tricker there for some reason. I don't get it. There's the Infernal build. You get the point. More invoked. There's Ogdoadic. There's the Sun Avalon package, the one I forgot to mention a little while back in the previous profile. Speaking of the profile, there's the list in question that I profiled not that long ago. And don't get used to seeing that, because aside from that profile, there are no other King of Games floor builds that is running the pure cards. They're all running Dogmatica, they're all running Necros, they're all running Zombie World, Orcust, Sun Avalon package, all that stuff. That is where I think the problem lies, is the main deck having no restrictions, so all these variants that do all these dumb things are allowed to exist. So, if you want my honest opinion, there is a way to fix this skill. So, note that with Draco coming off the list, I'm putting it in here temporarily. It'll be legal once the ban list actually goes into effect. So I'm just preparing ahead of time. I'm theory crafting ahead of time just to see how Draco can work. So, here's the deal. How do you fix this skill? Well, there's Spear Holder for what it's worth. There's also the Bad Shield Bearer. There's Drone. Among a couple of others. So, here's what I think. You need to lock the main deck down. It now must include 6 or more spellcasters with 2900 attack, and no monsters other than Floral Knights monsters, so that's Horse and White Steed. Fleur monsters, so that is Sorcier and Sage. Oh, I got that reversed. I was scrolling over those. Light Noble Knight monsters, so you can do like Jones, Spear Holder, Shield Bearer, although Shield Bearer is the best one. And Tuner monsters, that's your Necro Synchron, that's your Fleur Synchron. In this case, Glow Up Bulb is an option. You get the idea. So only Tuners, Floral Knights, Fleur, and Light Noble Knights in the main deck for monsters. That is it. That means you are required to play Sherry's actual cards. I've proven it can work. I have definitely proven it can work. If you hit that alone, the skill becomes much more bearable. Granted, keep the whole Necrofleur and Sorcier de Fleur face down thing. That nerf is good. Unrespondable Trish Zero is dumb. It's ridiculous. It should not be a thing. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, other than that, that's really it. I feel like people, for the most part, overreact when it comes to the Fleur skill because of how long it's been around, and also how many different variants of the skill enabling that this deck can actually get. Essentially, there's too many variants that are allowed to exist because the skill has no restrictions. This is what I mean when I say restricting skills more often than not is a good idea. People have argued with me saying that, well, I just want things to be as anime as possible. And yes, in some cases, that can hurt a deck. Look at Techgena Synchron, you'll see what I mean. Not being able to play Crystal Wing kind of blows. But Fleur, if it was locked to Sherry's actual cards, would still be really good even with the current skill nerf that's about to happen. Because we still have good options, we still have good resources to make use of, we still have a lot of ways to just play the game. And I think that's something people often forget. But with that in mind, I'd say as a whole, if you were to just keep the upcoming skill nerf and lock it to Sherry's cards, that would be enough to at least put Fleur in a healthier spot, takes away all the variations that, you know, cause some unhealthy stuff, because Punishment is just a buff to Fleur. That coming off the list is a buff to Fleur, because Dogmatica is the most common version, so now, not only do they get their Ecclesias and their Punishments for free, they can also play freaking Eclipses. Needle Ceilings if they wanted to, although I don't see why they would. Crackdowns, IDPs, compulsories, what have you, in addition to the Dogmatica punishment. That is not okay. You essentially buffed Dogmatica Fleur and punished every other build because of, well, Fishbalkin's getting banned. That needed to go. Good riddance. You're punishing every other build, essentially. You're trying to promote Dogmatica to Fleur with how it's playing, which is not okay. I think you simply just need to lock the skill to Sherry's actual cards being in the main deck and just tuners in general, so you don't have, say, freaking like machine tuners or plant tuners, considering you do need to be able to summon level 1 plant monsters. Like, let's take a look at this. Machine, plants, where is tuner? There we go. Like, Fleur Synchron is a machine. We do need to be able to play Necro Synchron because of, well, the skill, so it's just best to give them access to tuners in general. Essentially, with the proper main deck restrictions, I think at that point, Fleur would be fine. The hate for the skill has gone on long enough. The assault for the skill has gone on long enough. Requests to kill this skill are justified, but they've also gone on long enough. I feel like keeping the nerf that's coming up and locking it to Sherry's actual cards instead of allowing things like Dogmatica, Necra, Zombie World, Orcust, freaking... what else is there? Sun Avalon... Infernoble, and all that stuff to be abused by this skill. Preventing that, I think, would make things a lot more healthy for Fleur. Because you still have the Floral Knights cards, which are all really good. You still have the Light Noble Knights, so you still have access to Shield Bearer for a wild card. You still have the dumbness that is Sage to Fleur cheating things out. But what else is new? And as proven, White Steed comes in clutch more often than you might think. It's ridiculous. But, yeah. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think locking the main deck to Sherry's actual cards is the proper way to actually go about hitting Fleur? I do want to hear some opinions on that. I do want to hear at least what you guys think in terms of both the current nerf coming up and whatever other nerfs you might hear floating about, like locking the extra deck to Synchro Infusion or Synchro, or the higher requirement on the number of spellcasters with 2100 attack, or just locking the main deck to her actual cards. Like, what do you guys think is the best way to go about hitting Revolution Des Fleurs and actually making it, you know, playable, not being out to kill it like we needed to with freaking Fishbalkin? That just needed to go, but rather somehow with all the hits to Lyrolist, they're not going to be completely killed. They are still going to be playable, it's just a lot harder. And I think that is actually the best way to go about doing things. How can we do that for Revolution Des Fleurs as a skill? Before I do wrap this video up, if you guys are expecting me to profile this again with the skill nerf, I probably will, honestly. Fleur is genuinely fun with the Floral Knights cards. And with Draco coming off the list, that's more theory crafting I get to do. And, better yet, as a nice little extra, I will be attempting to go back to Synchron Quasar with Draco coming off the list, because we can now essentially, unfortunately, take out Shooting Star again, but we have options now. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But anyway, that's all I really have to say for this video. I want to know what you guys think with Revolution Des Fleurs. It's an interesting thing to talk about because, honestly, I understand the hate for the skill, but I think there's a better way to go about hitting it than just hard restricting the extra deck or making it require more bricks or anything like that. Like, say, making Necro Fleur have to be played from deck, which would have been interesting, but I don't know. I think the proper way to go about it is locking at the Sherry's cards, like the Floral Knights, 8 stuff, the Light Noble Knights, tuners, whatnot. That's just me, but let me know what you guys think. So, until the next video, whatever it might be, later, guys.